Someone wrote their number with a note saying, "Text me if you want to talk." I texted them about how I was having a bad day and they responded and gave me a few words of encouragement. My wife at the time, would get random dudes calling her late at night wanting sex. She would ask where they got the number and they would hang up. I encouraged her to start being a little nicer to those calling, and she eventually got one of them to tell her where they were getting her number. In a bathroom stall in a bar in the neighborhood a bitter ex-BF of hers resided. Finally, a really drunk guy called looking for a good time, and she explained to him that a whole ex-BF had maliciously put the message up. She asked him if he could scratch out the message. He agreed. They both hung up, and the phone call stopped. Edited for clarity. I saw a number in a bathroom stall that said, "Call Jerry." So I called Jerry. He picks up and said, "This is Jerry. A BJ is $50. I hung up. Close. Found a number in a textbook, so I called, and it was this guy who had left the number there 7 years ago and thought it was hilarious. I found it. He was really nice. Not a bathroom wall. But one time in high school, a group of kids and I found binders and folders that belonged to students from 10 years ago in a storage room. One binder, which belonged to a kid named Cody, had the large list of students' phone numbers. We called a handful of them, and probably only about 3 picked up. I guess they were amused that some kids from their old high school were calling them. And one girl actually thought it was really cool. It was an interesting experience. Someone put my number on the bathroom wall once. I got a text message from someone telling me it was really nice of them. Actually, after our text convo though, it got me thinking. Nobody had called me for a good time. I was slightly insulted cause I am, in fact, a very good time, but I did change my phone number anyway. 3 months later they tore that building down to make a new gas station, so in retrospect I guess I could have kept that phone number that I had for 10 plus years. Oh well. Your mom's doing fine. She hopes you had a good Easter. Gary was not up for it at all. I have never done it, but I recall once seeing something like "for a good BJ. Call blank," and recognizing it as a gay friend's number. I told him about it next time I saw him, and he said, "Yeah, I know. I wrote it there." It was before Grindr and all that existed. Anyway, I just told him to be careful. I'm fine with him being gay, but he wasn't the brightest. Naivety and a sense of rebellion do not mix well, particularly where bathroom graffiti is concerned. Although, it wasn't the graffiti itself that caused the problem, but rather my response to it. When I was about 10 years old, I decided to start referring to myself as a teenager. Sure, I might have been a few years shy of legitimately qualifying for the label, but I didn't care. Being a teenager was an attitude, and I had that attitude in spades. I did my best to act aloof and independent, and if ever there was an opportunity to showcase my grizzled toughness, you could bet that I'd take it. I'd stay up past my bedtime, play video games without asking permission, and sometimes, if I was feeling especially bold, I'd eat with my elbows on the table. I was, in a word, a badass. That was why, when I found a message reading, "For a really great fuck, call XXX4X and ask for Lupe," on the wall of the public library's bathroom, I decided to write down the number and give it a call. Now, you might be shocked or disturbed to picture a 10-year-old boy propositioning an anonymous phone number for sex, and rightly so. The thing is, I didn't actually know what fuck meant at the time. The bathroom graffiti could have read, "For a really great goddamn," and I would have had the same reaction. I was vaguely aware that fuck was a naughty word, but beyond that, I was clueless. For all I knew, Lupe was going to tell me a dirty joke, reveal a dangerous secret, or maybe just recite a particularly inflammatory monologue. Still, I knew it was going to be good, and more importantly, it was a teenager thing to do. Upon arriving back at home, I asked my mother if I could use the phone. I told her, in true rebellious teenager fashion, that I was going to call one of my friends. Little did she know that I was actually about to get a really great fuck. After getting permission. Not that I actually needed it. Of course. I hid in the back corner of my closet, then dialed the number from the bathroom wall. A few rings later, a woman picked up. Bueno? In my deepest and most gravelly voice, which probably sounded something like a Muppet with a cold. I replied, yeah, I'm calling for that really great fuck. Keep in mind, I didn't know what to expect. Nor did I speak Spanish. I assumed that meant okay, and that I was supposed to guide the exchange forward. So I said the only thing that came to mind. I've heard a lot of great fucks. So this fuck better be the greatest, ha. I was being so rebellious. And the woman I had called was undoubtedly impressed by it. Quote, she asked again. I was at a loss. Was there some sort of protocol to be followed here? A code word of sorts? Wait, that must be it. Fuck, I loudly declared. Unfortunately, my mother had chosen that exact moment to walk into my room. Monsieur Max, she yelled. What did you just say? To make a long story short, I had my phone privileges revoked, and I was grounded from video games for a week. I was disappointed and upset, to be sure, but I kept a quiet sense of triumph, too. After all, I might not have gotten my fuck from Lupe, but I sure as hell gave her a good one. TL. Doctor. I came. I called. I fucked. Reddit. Can we agree that maybe we should really start calling the numbers on bathroom stalls? Like, maybe make a group pact to always do this when we can? It seems most of the time it's not quite what we expect, and maybe, just maybe, we could be reaching someone who just wants to talk, or maybe didn't know their number was on the wall. Worst case, you get a really good fuck. I called one from one I found in the stall in school. It was a teacher at our school. Her home number. She asked how I got her number. This was the late 90s, so pagers and payphones were still a thing. I saw some graffiti on a payphone outside of a gas station on the way to a friend's house. Basically, it said something along the lines of "need hot gay dick" or something. So, I paged my friend and put that number in, and then headed to his door. Monsieur, when I got there, my friend said he got a page, called the number, and some guy answered. They were both confused for a minute because that dude didn't page my friend, and they tried to figure it out. After a bit, the dude asked my friend what he looked like. My friend explained himself. Then, the dude asked my friend if he was gay and or wanted to get his dick sucked. My friend said no on both accounts and hung up. He could tell by my laughing that I knew something, and I came clean. Honestly, I had assumed some other college kid had put his friend's number up there to fuck with him this year. But, nope. This guy was really trying to get laid via payphone graffiti. So, now, when I see this type of thing, I know that it isn't always a joke. Sometimes, you might just get your dick sucked. There was an abandoned battery factory that my friends and I would go to every so often when we had nothing else to do. One day they decided to tag one of the walls the phone number of a girl in our class, as well as one of theirs for some reason, with asterisk girl's number, asterisk is a hoe, and call, asterisk friend's number, asterisk for a good time. I know, my friends were super creative. So we leave the building after all of our hard work and head off to wreak more teenage havoc elsewhere. After a week or so, we've all but forgotten what we've done. And after a long day doing nothing, we decide we're hungry, so that night we go to Applebee's for their wing special. We're all chowing down when my friend Jay gets a call from an unsaved number. My other friend M begs him to answer just for shits and giggles, so he flips open his phone, and on the other side of the line was a guy. We'll call him P, saying that he and his friends saw the numbers on the side of the wall and it piqued their curiosity. They all happened to go to a private school near our district, so we all talked for a while and they decided to meet us at the Applebee's. We all hang out and exchange numbers and never really hang out other than that for a while. About 2 months later, my friend tells me one of the guys from the other school, P, is looking for a temp singer for their band, and I am all over it. I love singing, so fuck it. Right? I was really lucky I got close to them then, because a couple of months later one of my friends and I got in a fight and she took my entire friend group with her when she left. It was awful, but I had this whole other group and these new people I had met, so I wasn't alone. They took me into their group like I had been there all along, and it really helped me along in the process of losing all my friends halfway through junior year. P was one of my closest friends throughout all of this, and his girlfriend K and I got close as well. She ended up living with my family, and still does. And when he went off to college that summer, we went up and visited regularly. But P had changed. Instead of casual drinking and smoking, he was twisted every day, stopped going to classes, started selling without K's knowledge. Eventually, it comes out that he's cheated on her. Another friend that lived with him, H, tells K, so of course, she breaks up with him. Mr. P goes ballistic. He calls me at school and tells me what happened. He says that he's gonna find H and kill him, and he is serious. I could hear his intent in his voice. I could feel it. It scared me. I had never seen this side of him, but I could tell it was real. As I'm trying to calm down my enraged friend at school, mind you, I'm frantically texting H as well as my mom in case H hides in another friend's dorm across campus, while my mom makes the 2.5-hour drive to the school. She picks him up, brings him back to our house, and from there I'm not really sure what happened other than H getting a restraining order against P. H ended up dropping out for the rest of the semester and moves back home for a while, which was nice because we ended up becoming good friends and still are today. We all moved on with our lives. H went back to school. K moved to Texas with my family, and I moved to Nebraska. All is going well. It had been well over a year since I had even talked about P when H texts me a link to a news article. I'm thinking, this is weird. Why are you sending me a news arty? All of my thoughts about anything else came to an abrupt halt. The article was about P. After we all broke contact, apparently he had started selling heavier drugs as well as unlicensed weapons. The police were building their case, but they had no grounds for a warrant until they got a call for a noise complaint to his address. Bingo. So they go to the house for the complaint and tell P they're coming back with a warrant, and P knows he's screwed, like any spaced-out narcotics arms dealer would do. He immediately tries to formulate a plan to distract the police officer who stayed back to watch the place so he can move everything as quickly as possible. In his mind, apparently, there are only like 10 officers on duty at night in a state university town, and he can distract all of them. Monsieur, he has 2 friends rob a gas station down the street, and him and his other friend, A, acquire a good amount of gasoline and set ablaze an apartment building. A university researcher on a higher floor could not get out in time before smoke took over her lungs. She died that night in the burning building. I hope she was asleep for most of it. May she rest in peace. They figured out it was him, and pretty quickly, and long story short, he is in prison for 30 years, and A is in for 20. Half of P's life will be gone by the time he gets out. What's so sad, and a little angering, is that he was a smart guy. He was at the school on a football scholarship. We would talk for hours about everything we had done and what we had learned. He was charming and funny, but he let something else take over. Something that will hopefully haunt him for the rest of his life, that got a lot longer than I thought it would. But that's my story about how a number on a wall leads to me befriending a murderer. Thanks for listening if you got this far. Obligatory. https://io.wp.com/www.geeksairsexy.net/uploads/2010/12/good jpg w equals 640. A couple years ago someone wrote my friend's name and number on the train with a note to call for free doorknobs. None of us could ever figure out if it was a euphemism for something, but she got calls for weeks about the free doorknobs. One of my friends put my mobile number on a toilet wall for a joke. Another friend called it awkward. Fuck yes. Technically, I texted a phone number that prompted me to do so. For a hot bottom text XXT me, they were super responsive and we were trolly as fuck to one another. I escalated things and sent a picture of a used condom found in my work parking lot. They sent a flaccid penis. I sent a poop pic and #X200B. They never responded back. I didn't call one, but found my number on a bathroom wall. Sadly, no one ever called me. The paper towels arrived within 5 business days. In middle school I called a number under on one of the benches written in Sharpie. After a couple months of talking and getting to know this girl, we parted ways without ever mentioning this. She is now my best friend's wife and mother of their 2 daughters. Weird world. In my stupid teenage years, I saw a call girl's name for a great screw. Being completely moronic, I called it and tried to act all suave. The girl broke down in tears crying, asking why we kept calling her. Her mom immediately grabbed the phone and tore into me. I apologized and hung up, then literally cried and scrubbed out her number. I've tried to make it a point to call numbers and ask if they've been harassed over the phone, then explain where the number was and scrub it out. I never see numbers written on stalls anymore, though. It's been years, I think, since I last called someone. It's always disconnected. The number was no longer in service. I really wanted to connect with another person just to not feel alone for a little while. I'd worked so hard to push everyone away, push everyone out, for their own good. For my own good, put my phone away, put my dick away, washed my hands, told the cashier I called the number. He laughed, said it was his friend's old cell phone number. I laughed too, felt a little better. Laughter is good. Paid for gas, fueled up, ran the pump for this old lady, filled the tank in her busted-ass Chevrolet Cavalier, put the nozzles back. When I was a kid, my friend and I were at the bowling alley, and in the bathroom was one of those for a good time numbers. We didn't 100% know what it meant, but we were all for calling random numbers to see what would happen. We go to the payphone and call the number, and it goes to an answering machine with some gruff-sounding guy doing his "leave your name and number" spiel. Somewhere out there, some dude once came home to a message of a little girl casually saying, "Yes, hello. We saw your phone number on the bathroom wall and we're looking for a good time." So, and the other screaming in the background, "Oh my god, asterisk hang you up," asterisk before the click.